Screencast 2, take 2, bank robber. Here's my knowns as far as the X plane and the Y plane. My initial velocity in the X direction was 10.34 meters per second. The Y direction plane, its velocity of the initial in the Y direction is 1.82 meters per second. The height of the 5-story building, which is my initial Y, was 50 feet, so I just converted that into meters as 15.24. My final Y, which is a 4-story building, calculated that out to 12.19 meters. And the change of Y's is 3.05 meters. And the acceleration in the Y direction is a negative 9.8 meters per second. Here is the diagram I used to keep track of the problem. So I calculated out the X components in the horizontal plane and then the Y component in the vertical plane, and that's how I came out with my initial velocity in the X direction and my initial velocity in the Y direction, and I just plugged it over here. There's another reference to keep track of later on. So one of the questions was solving for t for time. So I just use a quadratic equation to figure out the time it took from one building to the other. Calculated that up to 1.009 yada 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 seconds. I just rounded it off to 1 second total. And then the distance the robber traveled altogether. Calculated that up to 3.73 meters per second. And then I've tried to figure out my final velocity in the Y direction. I chose my Y component, my initial velocity, plus my acceleration in the vertical plane, which is a negative 9.8, and I just times that all by 1 second, and I calculated that to be a negative 7.98 meters per second. So we just use the Pythagorean theorem here to figure out my magnitude of the triangles here, and I chose figured out the angles in between all the triangle itself too. At top I had the horizontal distance of 3.73 meters, and the vertical I had 7.98. So I just used like I said, the quadratic equation there to figure out that to be 8.80 meters per second. So one of the questions was, how far away can the other building be for a safe landing? And I just took my overall distance in the X, for velocity in the X, which was 3.73 meters per second. So I just rounded down to a 3.5 meters away for a max safe distance the other building could be for a safe landing. And then the other question was, at what maximum safe distance will the robber's velocity be just before he hits the other rooftop? And I just used my final velocity in the Y direction, came out to a negative 7.98 meters per second. So here is the overall paper, all the information on there, and I hope that's correct. We'll see you later.